do have choices. You just have to own up to the consequences of them.
That is the literal definition of blackmail.
You think that I should trust you? Where has that ever gotten me?
Listen to us. This is toxic. We are in a toxic relationship.
My Tessa would never kiss a stranger at a club.
There is no "you're Tessa" anymore. You'd have me.
Okay, that's not enough.
Hey guys, it's Nim. What's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and welcome back to the deep dive series. Mama, look, I'm grown now. I'm grown. If you are new here and you don't know what the deep dive series is, this is basically where I sit down, I do my makeup, and I dive deep into a certain topic or certain topics. And so for today's deep dive, we're going to be diving deep into the toxic relationship trope, as well as the after series. I don't have my mic with me today, so the sound might be a little bit better. I don't know which one works better. I still don't know where it is. I don't know where my mic is. Like, full on don't know where it is, so might have to buy a new one, which I'm not upset about. I'm not upset about that because I feel like I need a bigger mic, like a bigger... Let's just get started. In movies and books, the portrayal of relationships is a topic that is definitely criticized as well as romanticized. So all in the same, we romanticize romance in movies and film, whilst we also debate about it a lot, whether it's a good thing to be talking about or not. One trope that has gotten a ton of debate and scrutiny is the toxic relationship trope. The fascination around two characters that are in love often blurs the lines between love and dysfunction. Like, you know, you can't call it passion, but it's also just straight up collision and lack of compatibility. To dive deeper into this trope, I'm going to be referring back to the After series by Anna Todd. This series has generated a ton of discussion on whether its portrayal of romance is like genuine love or toxicity. And before we even go into it, it's toxic. The After series is made up of movies and film adaptations, plural film adaptations, and they just finished and released their final movie, which, thank goodness. It centers around two characters, Hardin Scott and Tessa Young. At first, it appears to be some sort of classic love story, you know, bad boy meets the good girl, and they fall in love and have a flourishing romance. However, this narrative then floats into complete and utter dysfunction and negative portrayals of what love should look like. As the series progresses, it becomes very, very clear that this relationship is very, very far from healthy. The novels that I'm referring to starts with a fan fiction that was written about Harry Styles and a girl named Tessa, and then it flourished into something of many novels and many movies, which I just think the movies are poorly made, and that's just my personal opinion. I have a lot of opinions on movies, and in this movie I just think that they're poorly made and poorly constructed, to the point where the plot, I've just completely lost it, and I've watched every single movie and I still don't know what it's about. Like, very common thing about this type of trope is the intensity of all the emotions that not only the characters feel, but us as the viewers also feel as we're going through it. Tessa and Hardin's passion for each other is undeniable, and it's very questionable. Like, this passion often takes a possessive and controlling nature to the point where it borderlines abusive rather than passionate. Hardin will exert a very strong dominance over Tessa, whilst controlling her friends, who she hangs out with, and also just completely isolating her from everyone that she knows, and basically making him the only person that she can depend on in college. Like, soon as she meets him, it becomes you and me against the world, babe. No one else matters. So she doesn't have any more friends.
I do trust you. It's them I don't trust.
No, you don't. You don't trust me. You don't trust anyone. You just control them.
He will make decisions on her behalf whilst also not allowing her to do anything. And his temper is absolutely volatile. Like, he acts like a 6-year-old. And it's just completely unnecessary and unfair to Tessa. And that's just me being honest. And sadly, when it comes to tropes like this, the guy is often excused from his borderline because, oh, he's going through something, you wouldn't understand, he's just misunderstood. And I don't think that's fair to a bunch of people who don't realize that, like, you can fix those things. Like, you're not always going to be this violent, volatile person. Like, you can change. No one is born toxic, and you can unbreak habits that have formulated due to childhood experiences. It doesn't just happen to be a way where you're stuck like that. You can change. Your mind learnt it. You can unlearn it. The dynamic between the two characters in a toxic love trope basically pushes the idea that love equates to control and drama. And it's a very problematic mindset that is just sent out to everyone because it's in books, it's in movies, it's in everything that you see at this point. There's going to be a toxic relationship, and it's being fed to us that this is what that love is supposed to be, this constant drama and passion and when love is not necessarily supposed to be an uphill battle. I've never been like in love, but love is not supposed to be a constant battle where you are fighting with someone 24/7. Like, another very prevalent characteristic of these tropes is the constant miscommunications and misunderstandings within the relationship. Obviously, I'm not saying that in a relationship you're not going to have like miscommunication and you're not going to struggle with understanding what somebody wants. But Tessa and Harden's relationship is constantly just them never communicating and basically having like a 14-year-old relationship where they just do a lot of tapping each other in bed, if you know what I mean. Their relationship is plagued with lack of open and honest communication, and it honestly then just leads to a very repetitive storyline, and it just becomes straight up boring. The frequency and severity of this constant miscommunication is constantly romanticizing the idea that constant conflict is genuine love, when that's just obviously not true. Constantly fighting with someone where you guys are literally fighting every single time you guys are around each other, and the only time when you guys are happy is when there's no dialogue between the two of you, or when you guys are woohooing. Like, it's just a very horrid narrative to have in your movie. I understand the narrative that, yeah, okay, the toxic relationship. But then adding on to the fact where these people are never happy unless they're not communicating or not talking to each other just shows that maybe they shouldn't be in a relationship. Harden definitely feels as though he has some sort of right over Tessa, and he will literally make a snarky remark.
The irony is I got you the damn job in the first place.
I mean, I might have had something to do with it.
Or he will just have a horrible mood.
Absolutely not!
Therefore making the whole entire moment that they have turn completely sour. Like, then just becomes a toxic fight and a back and forth between these two, where once again they're unhappy and they're having a challenge within their relationship, and they never really talk through their problems, which once again, very toxic idea of what a relationship should look like. The story in all of these relationships in entertainment is the belief and possibility that love can make someone change. And it can bring the possibility of redemption for someone who's obviously emotionally or even physically you or themselves, and therefore going and taking it out on you. Despite Harden's numerous problems and horrid attempts at trying to better himself for Tessa, we as readers and viewers are meant to believe that if you don't love someone enough, they won't change. And if you love someone the right amount, perfectly for them, they will change for you. No one is going to change unless they want to change. They're not going to change because suddenly they fall in love and the person that they love is making them change for the better. That's never going to happen, and it's a lot of pressure to put on your partner, because your partner now believes if you're not changing, they're just not loving you properly. And that's a very, very horrid mindset to have in a relationship, because you feel as though you failed your partner. But at the end of the day, your job in a relationship is not to be someone's life coach. That's not your role in a relationship. Within somebody's redemption arc, these characters either have to have a really touching story about how like their house caught on fire and someone sprayed them with gasoline and threw them inside the burning house, or they have to have some sort of underlying issue and traumatic mindset in order for us to sympathize with the character for treating their significant other like absolute garbage. And I think that is so toxic, because it's not fair to then say that this person won't change because of trauma. Because once again, like I said, you can change, you just have to want to change, and you just want to have to better yourself. If you don't want to better yourself, then you should not be in a relationship. If you are not better, don't put that pressure on somebody else. Whilst this trope is dedicated to people who enjoy to read stuff like that, it also poses the question as to people who maybe just want to try something new and then stumble across this, completely consumed by the idea that this is what love looks like. And I guess if you have a very like weird or concerning view about what love should look like, it's very hard for you to separate yourself from the story. And I guess it plants a negative connotation to love. And I know for me personally, I definitely struggled with the idea of what love's supposed to look like, because that's basically what I've consumed for most of my life, is this toxic trope. Because that's kind of, this generation is kind of where it stems from, because we can't help but enjoy the will they or won't they trope. And also a big struggle within this relationship is that in the toxic relationship trope is that it's just basically sets a very unrealistic standard for what borderline versus love. A lot of people don't realize that, you know, stuff like this is emotional. If you literally don't even know whether you feel loved or whether you're just constantly feeling hurt, and that's what love is supposed to feel like. But hey, I've never been in a relationship, so I don't really know. I'm talking out of right now. But that is it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. It was quite a shorter deep dive, but I think it's because my last deep dive was quite long, if you ask me. Thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I have so many other deep dives up my sleeve, you won't even see it coming. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like, subscribe down below, turn on the notifications that you get notified every time I post a new video, and I'll see you guys all next week. Bye, besties.